There's alligators in Westlaco, guys.
There is, yeah. There's alligators in Westlaco at the island. We do have alligators out here. For a while, I was going to Estero just to photograph the baby alligators. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get too close.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't get too close. You never know. But
yeah, true.
But yeah, we do have alligators out here.
Hi, this is Lucy from Edinburgh, and this is Zoe and Kira, and you're watching the Rio Grande podcast.
We're back from a morning out on the field with Mr. Eman over here, Manny Marquez. So he runs Piece of Wildlife Texas. It's a photography. What would you say it is, man?
Yeah, it's a photography, Instagram handle.
Yeah.
I like to just post photos of different birds and mammals, and mostly here in the local area, RGV.
Yeah, exactly. So the vision, the reason I bothered Manny, right, to get him on the podcast is because a lot of what we do is about things that make the valley awesome, right? Like things that we have here, hidden gems. One of the things that we have to do in the valley is nature photography. And I say that because a lot of us aren't taking advantage of that treasure, or that, like, it's a legitimate hobby, right? But even if you're not a hobbyist, I mean, in the valley, nature is one of the biggest things that we have here, like, to do, right? Whether it's kayaking or hunting, fishing, but there's a whole other subset, right? Nature photography, and we have so many, like, local parks, state parks, and a lot of us aren't utilizing that opportunity, right? Something to do like on a Saturday or a Friday after work. So I was looking around and I found Piece of Wildlife, and dude, your stuff is amazing.
I appreciate it.
His you guys gotta have to check out his Instagram account. He has a website too, like where like you sell like your photos, right?
I sell prints. I sell prints at some of the markets, like the Harlingen Art Night.
Okay.
McAllen Art Walk. I've been trying to get into some other ones as well. I did Quinta Mazatlan as well. They had like a hummingbird, thing as well.
Oh yeah, you were there. We were actually there too.
Yeah,
like a hummingbird festival.
Yep. Yeah,
so
I was out there, and I took a whole bunch of hummingbird photos for that.
Were you doing pictures of like families?
No.
Oh, okay. It's like maybe you took a picture of us. But do you guys remember that? We did that. So anyway, like in front of us, Manny has a whole bunch of his photos that he took. Like there's hummingbirds, there's nilgai. And again, remember, this is all like in our backyards.
Right.
So the first thing I'm going to ask you is why, and remember, we're talking to people that are maybe interested in it or haven't done it or don't know that it exists, right? Because, it's probably most of us. Why nature photography? Like, why is it worth it to get out of the house and get a camera and take pictures of the wildlife?
It's peaceful, man. It's fun to get out.
Wildlife.
Yeah, piece of wildlife. It's just peaceful to go out there, and it's you get out in nature, and it cures anxiety, and you just forget all about your worries, your stresses, and you focus on trying to get what bird am I going to see, and how can I photograph it, and your mind just goes into that creative side of it, right? Where you just want to get the best shot you can. So it's just the focusing on what we have. And once you're out there, you start to see all the different species of birds, and it's like it opens up this whole new world of like, just like, wow, like I didn't know we had that down here. So I mean, that's what I try and go out and see if I can find something new, and the photographer in me wants to find it in good lighting, wants to find the nice backgrounds, the foregrounds, and then just behavior of the animal. And I've always been drawn to like nature stuff. Like I would always watch Steve Irwin and all that growing up. So it's like, man, I want to be like that. I want to go out there and, be with nature and be with animals. And, so I've always enjoyed it. It wasn't always that way. I started, it was kind of like a progress in my life where I was taking photos of friends, riding skateboards.
Oh,
and
cool.
Then, I would do video and then edit skate videos. And, so it was that, and evolved into like, taking photos of my kids and my dogs. And then from that, it just went into like, okay, birthday parties and eventually weddings. And I did weddings for quite a while. And then, you know, when I was like 29 or so, I was having like anxiety. You know, I think it's just all the stresses of life. You know, you got kids, you have mortgage to pay, you have all this going on. And I was just like, I need to go for a walk. And I think it was Benson State Park that I went out to and started noticing all the cardinals and green jays, kiskadees. I didn't know what any of those birds were, but it's like, man, like we have this here. Like that's these colorful birds. That's crazy.
Like they've always been here.
They've
right?
always been here, but we just never really paid attention. And then I went home. I grabbed my camera, which I would use for weddings, and I went out for my hikes and I would see a cardinal. Let me snap a pic. And I would see a kiskadee. Oh, let me snap a pic. Right. And eventually that turned into, how can I get closer? How can I get closer to, you know, I want to get a closer shot. I don't want to crop. I want to try and get close to these animals, to these birds. And, yeah, from there, just you kind of go down this rabbit hole.
That's awesome.
Wanting to buy new gear.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
shopping around.
How can I like hide myself from the animals so that they can come closer to me? And yeah, it's very similar to hunting. And that's why, I mean, I really enjoy the chase as well, you know, so.
There's a thrill there.
There's a thrill. There's a thrill, the chase, especially with coyotes. You know, when you're trying to get a good shot of a coyote, you got to figure out, well, how can I get close to them without them getting scared? Because they can smell you from far away. You know, they can see you. They'll smell you. They hear you. So it's how can I get close? And then you start to think like a hunter, right? Like, okay, well, I got to move where maybe the wind's not blowing the wrong direction to where they can smell me, you know, and then eventually it's like, okay, well, maybe if I sit still here, they'll cross this path, you know. It's just like, it's so much, it's just so much that you can get out of photography, and the reward at the end is just awesome to have a print to say that, you know, this is my photo.
Oh, the product,
you know, it's
that's interesting, really awesome, man. Because like, so what I asked you was like, why nature photography? And the thing that caught my attention was like the first thing you mentioned was like the mental health aspect, like the whole like stress relief, right? Because I mean, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why people get into, actually, let me rephrase that, because what you said was, first of all, the whole mental health aspect, and getting into nature photography was because of like like a stress relief walk or something? Like clear your mind kind of walk
just
at the
to
park?
clear my mind and try and see if I can, you know, move around and forget about that anxiety, you know?
Wow. And so, and how is it that like that helps with that?
I mean, you're moving around, you're moving, and it's, you know, like I said, it's, you forget all the world stress, right? Like or the stress in your world, you know, you can get caught up in a whirlwind, and it's just like, it's just always go, 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 go. And with wildlife photography, it makes you stop.
And you notice the change? Like you notice the benefits?
Oh,
like,
definitely.
What did it do for you? Like
it brought a calm to me. Like, you know, I would go out there and, you know, 2-3 hours would go by and I didn't even notice that it was like, you know, time was flying, but I'm just out there enjoying it.
Because you're so like into it?
You're so into it. Yeah. I mean, at least for me, it's always trying to figure out, you know, like what's next, what's going to pop up, and the excitement of that. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So you're not thinking about like whatever problems that's what you mean, right? Like you're like, you just completely like
just isolate yourself from the world, and you're out there and disconnected
in nature.
In nature, you know, no cell phone service, you know, no scrolling, none of that. It's just going out and listening to what's out there,
detoxing kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
in the wild. Like,
oh yeah,
that's cool, dude. I actually like how you said that, because like, so Manny's got some photos here, and these are all like the product, right? So like, so like for example, this one. Well, a Nilgai bull, right?
Nilgai bull.
And you were saying like how you were like hunting it, or like basically like chasing it, like waiting for it. So what's the story behind this one? Like how does one get to have this photo on the wall?
So that took several months trying to get close to a bull, and that was very unintentional. I was actually chasing the female, which I have a photo of here. Let's see.
There's a falcon there too, by the way.
There's falcons. I've got photos of a lot of different species here in South Texas.
So that bull that I popped out was like an incidental shot, like an accident.
So kind of, yes. So
this is what you were going for.
So I was going for the female. I noticed her at a distance, right? So I normally go off trail, and I follow the deer trails. This was actually at Sal del Rey in Edinburgh. And
oh, cool.
So I go off the trails, and I followed this deer trail, and I noticed the female. She was just, she was feasting on, different greens and just foraging. And sure enough, I had my ghillie suit on. I had everything. So I was just out there trying to just get into the brush and just following her around. So I'd get a couple shots, and then she would stop for a little bit, so I would stop. And then eventually she led me to the bull. And this bull, if you know nilgai are very skittish animals. Like, they don't just come up to you, or you can't just go up to them. Like, they'll notice you from really far away, and they're just gone. They take off. So I got to a little spot while I was observing her, and the bull came around this brush. Like, he came around, and I was just super still. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to sit here. I wonder if it'll run if I lift my camera. So I did it as slow as I possibly could. And then I got a couple shots, and he looked at me because I clicked my shutter, and he heard the shutter. So he stared, but I'm in the brush with my ghillie suit on, and I don't think he noticed me, and he just continued to walk. He just walked away. So I was able to get really good close shots. He was maybe like 15, 20 yards from me.
Wow,
so
man.
It was pretty close. And that's a shot that I had, I had wanted for a long time. You
weren't even going for it that day.
I wasn't really going for it that day. I was just following this female nilgai, and it got me that shot.
That's part of the fun, though, right? Because sometimes you just don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah,
man, dude. So so if I want to get into nature photography, like how did you start? Like, is it literally just like you just pick up your phone and take a picture of a butterfly, or what? And then it just gets you going?
Yeah, it could be with your phone, just going out. You want to get really close. There's like the National Butterfly Center here, the NBC.
Where's that, in Mission?
In Mission, yeah, in Mission. And they have so many different species of butterflies. I don't remember 10 of those.
You've taken shots,
but I've
there,
taken
right?
some shots of them. Yeah, but they have so many different species of butterflies that it's the same thing as birding, right? Like, you go birding, and it's like hundreds and hundreds of species of birds here in the valley, and then you get hundreds and hundreds of species of butterflies that but you can get really close to them. So if you just want to take photos of butterflies, you can just you can get close.
Oh, so that's why doing butterflies is a good way to start, because you can get super close.
Yeah, you can get close to them, and and then they also have feeders out there for the birds. So you can sit out there on a little table and just watch the birds as they come in and they feed. So you'll see all the different species, like the cardinals, the green jays, the kiskadees, all your resident birds. Sometimes you get wild turkeys out there.
Oh yeah, at the National Butterfly Center.
Yeah, at the Butterfly Center.
So would you say it's a good place for a beginner?
I would say that's a good place for a beginner to go out. Just go out to the NBC. Even the Benson Park, the state park, Cerro Llano Grande.
It's close by, right? They're close to each other.
Yeah, so you've got the Benson State Park in Mission. Then you've got Estero Llano Grande over in Westlaco. And then even the island, they have that SPI birding center out there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, it's close to that turtle sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, those are all nice places just to go for a little walk and enjoy nature up close.
So it's going to help you stress relieve. And it's going to it gives you a whole new hobby, something fun to do at the same time. That's cool, man, because you don't find that in everything.
No.
And you said that you really feel a difference, when you're out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever I feel like I'm, maybe I'm stressing out about something, I'm going to go pick up a camera and just shoot, I'm just going to go shoot photos, get out there, into nature. So it's like meditation in a way. It's like my way of meditating.
Okay. I'm sure. I'm sure it would feel that way for a lot of us if we tried it, though, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
So I was gonna ask you, and this might be a hard or even annoying question for photographers, because Manny is like he's a photographer before he's a nature like enthusiast, right? Is
Right.
that
Yeah,
fair to say?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. What do you consider like your most prized shot in nature photography?
Ooh, I have several. If we're talking RGV,
This guy has like categories.
Hey, I've gone out to Big Bend to photograph black bear.
Nice.
We went to Hawaii recently to go photograph some of the sea turtles out there.
For that specifically?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a trip.
Expeditions?
It was a trip just to go explore, and it was.
So okay, we'll keep it to the valley.
We'll keep it. Yeah, we could keep it to
best shot.
So
He's
best
like,
shot
in that case.
Yeah, best shot here in the valley. For me, I mean, it has to be the Nil guy. That's something that's not very. It doesn't come easy. You really have to. You spend a lot of time out there, just a lot of time exploring, scouting. Recognizing patterns. So it's something that you have to really, really put in the time and effort for a shot like that. Had I not been out there, I might have missed that shot, but to get that shot, I had realized that maybe that these Nil guy come out a certain time, so I had to be there like at least an hour before to see if I can get something moving. Right. And then eventually it's like, okay, so I've recognized their pattern. I know they're going to take this path soon. And then, on my way out there, that female was there, and I just, that's how I got that shot, just following her around.
And you're in a ghillie suit and everything.
I'm in a ghillie
getting
suit,
down and dirty.
Yeah. So I'll set up, I'll set up a hide, and I'll sit out there in the hide for a few hours. And sometimes I'll be there for a full day, and I come out empty, but the days that I do have a shot, it's like, whoa, like that's just awesome.
That makes it that much more like valuable, right?
Yeah.
Like when you get
the reward at the end is just like, it makes it, it makes that time not wasted, but all that time spent out there, it makes it worth it.
And either way, you're saying that even when you're not seeing anything, you're just enjoying like the fresh air, right? Like
just go out there and breathe some fresh air.
Away from Minecraft, like we were talking about, away from like whatever, Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, nowadays it's that VR, everybody's
have
on
you
that
tried
VR.
that
My son is really into it.
So he's like taking me like
so I'm like,
shots.
there's some jabs there.
Yeah.
No, he loves going out there too. So
Cool.
I'll take him out and he'll take some photos as well.
You're getting your son into it also?
Oh yeah, he loves it. He loves being out there.
And what is he using? Like,
he uses my camera.
Cool.
Yeah, I lend him the camera. It's a little heavy for him right now, but it's just, hey, practice on this one, and we'll get you a camera soon.
yeah, that's cool, man. And where does he like to go, or just wherever Dad takes him?
Everywhere. I mean, he likes being out there, and he'll spot an insect from like super far away. So he's like, oh, look at that little ant, and then it's like, where? Like, where do you see that? And he's like, right here. So then it's like, oh, cool. Like, so sometimes he'll find things, and it's like, oh, that's a cool thing to take a photo of. Like, just get a shot,
Oh, because his curiosity shows him more stuff than we would we would see with our eye. Probably.
Yeah, they're very he's very observant, of the his environment, right? So
how old is he?
He's 9.
9. Cool. So 9. And he's like, then he's having a blast, like running around and everything.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, he loves being out there. Like any other kids too, they get tired, so they don't like to hike a lot, so. But I mean, it's all part of it. Once you get them out there and you start putting things in their hands, let them touch the leaves and the branches, climb a tree, play with the dirt, grab the dirt, do something, throw a rock.
Did you say hiking?
Just, yeah.
Like, is there places that you like to hike here in the valley?
Yeah. I mean, it's all flatland, but it's still, we have beautiful like nature out here. I like Benson State Park. You can go out there and hike, and you'll see stuff like javelinas and wild turkeys and all that while on your hike. They have different trails out there. I like Estero Llano Grande too.
That's in Westlaco, right?
Yeah, it's in Westlaco. They have some nice hikes. You can go and hike up on a levee, and then you can look over it's like a wetland, or like it's like a canal, but it's like a big old wetland up there, and you can see some different birds like spoonbills and pelicans.
The pink ones, right?
The spoonbills.
Is that the park that has alligators?
Yeah, they do. So
there's alligators in Weslaco, guys.
There is, yeah. There's alligators in Weslaco at the island. We do have alligators out here. For a while, I was going to Estero just to photograph the baby alligators.
Oh, wow.
They had some little baby alligators in this, I think it's called Grebe Pond. And it's towards the back area. And yeah, I would go every weekend just to go photograph them, get some video of them. It was fun. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get too close.
Mm-hmm. You know? Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't get too close. You never know. But
yeah, true.
But yeah, we do have alligators out here.
It's crazy, man. Like, that's so. I'll tell a little backstory. A lot of the questions I'm asking him, like I know, but I'm always playing the role of someone. Not that I know things, right? But like my point was that I didn't know about the alligators at Estero Rio Grande until like 5 years ago, which is like recent. And I remember I was looking at them and I was like, bro, like I've lived here my whole life, and I had no idea you guys are so close to like to where I am. And now there's like. Alligators are not very rare, man. Like down here, especially in Cameron County.
No,
like even in canal systems, dude, you'll see them.
Yeah,
like in irrigation canals.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you pull over at little places like that too, or do you have specific spots?
I like driving the back roads.
See what you find.
Yeah, see what I find. You'll be surprised, like what's out in the back roads. Sometimes you might see roadkill, and then you got bunch of caracaras and Harris's hawks and turkey vultures, and they're just feasting away on the roadkill. So those always make for good shots, so it's pretty cool to see them like perched up on the fence line. You get that traditional like ranch style raptor photography, where you get the raptor on the pole.
Oh, okay.
So
it sounds like butterflies and birds are easy, like some of the easier stuff to get started with.
Yeah, just because we have so much of it down here.
Can you give us like one bird that you want us to look for, like that we're gonna see that we just haven't seen because we haven't looked for it?
The green jay.
Green jay.
I don't think people know that we have green jays down here.
And they're like some of the birds that like just go out to any of the park and you'll find them.
Yeah, you can go to any of the parks. Just like I'll bring up Santa Cruz Ranch where we were out this morning shooting. You'll see the families of green jays coming into the water hole and just to drink water, feast, and play. I mean, it seems like they're playing around, they're very smart, and they're tricksters too. So they'll make sounds like hawks, like a gray hawk. They'll mimic the gray hawk.
Really?
And I've been out there where I'm just like, oh, I'm onto a hawk. And then it turns out it's a green jay. I'm just like,
so they've tricked you.
I'm like, dude, like, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's not cool, but I mean, it's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool. Because it must feel like, oh man, he got me. And you're like, oh man, he got me. Like that was
really
good.
Got me.
That was a good one. Like fist bump him. So what he's talking about, guys, this morning we were at Santa Cruz Ranch.
Yep.
I had to make sure. Santa Cruz Ranch. And we were in this little spot that the owner of the ranch took us to. And there was like 3 or 4 green jays together with a bunch of quail, by the way. They're like gorgeous quail. But you told us something, dude, that we didn't know. You told us about them like sticking to the family. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, they stick together. They're
green jays.
Green jays. They'll forage together. So
like the siblings, like the family.
Yeah, so
it's not just a group, like it's actually their family.
Yeah, it's like family. Yeah, so you've got the yearlings that will stick around and they'll forage with the just kind of stick together. So one might take like a look around for other people and or like anything that can like get to them, and they alarm
on guard.
So they're guarding, and then the others go and they'll forage around. But it's interesting. I mean, you'll hear all the different sounds, and I think we heard it earlier as well.
Yeah.
Where one of them was like seeing a caracara fly by, and it was alarming the other birds.
We saw that like 2 hours ago. That's so cool. The reason why I thought that was interesting is because if I think about like my experience seeing birds, like, okay, go to 10th Street and you're going to see 10 trillion grackles, right? But I've never thought, or like you'll see like 3 or 4 sparrows together, but I've never once considered maybe that's his tia and that one's his cousin and that's his brother. Like, you just think they're all just like a group of birds, or like they're hanging out, right? They're like homies. But green jays, the family sticks together.
Yeah,
which is super cool, man. Like that kind of blows my mind. I mean, maybe that's normal, but
yeah,
I just had never thought about that. I just thought they were just friends hanging out. but
Yeah.
they stick to their unit.
Yeah, they'll stick together. Yeah.
And they all have a role. Like they're all doing stuff. Like like
Yep.
one guy's on guard calling them out, the other one's eating, one guy's taking a nap, right? Somebody's emailing his like professor.
Emailing.
It's so cool, man. Like seeing that. And you literally all we had to do was go outside and
Yeah.
witness it. Like we only went out like just this morning. It wasn't like we did like a 5-day excursion. Like we went out once and we got to see that happen.
Yeah.
Within like, what would you guys say? It was like 10 minutes of being in the blind.
Yep.
Like literally, it was just all you have to do is get out there.
Yeah, just got to get out there and just.
And of
look
course,
around
Santa
you.
Cruz, like, manages to keep the birds there, right? So I mean, it's very a really nice spot, very intentional and deliberate. But you're gonna see that setting like throughout the whole valley, right? Like,
Yeah, you'll see that around. Like I said, a lot of the local parks, they'll have bird feeders. So they'll put out bird feeders like at certain times of the day, and you can see all the different birds that come in just to feed, and they already know like what time. So they're like on the clock,
They're waiting.
They're
That's
just
so
waiting
cool.
around, and as soon as you put the oranges on the trees and the feed, the seeds, I mean, they're already like looking at you like, okay, just move away so I can come in and
Yeah, that's
and eat,
so cool, man.
So, but yeah, it's interesting to see, and you could do that in your backyard. You can do that in your backyard if you want to put a couple of bird feeders. You can put some oranges on some trees, and eventually, like if you're consistent with it, like you'll have birds, different species of birds come to your backyard, and then you can just do photography from there. If
So put oranges and like,
yeah, you can cut the oranges in half and just with a nail you can put it into the tree, and and eventually they'll come in, and they'll start eating the orange and grapes. I've seen people put grapes out.
oh really?
Yeah, so it's just fruits,
So
fruits
it's
in
easy.
general. Yeah, it's very easy. If you want to get a good shot, you can set up a nice background. You can have a nice foreground and just sit there and just put your oranges, and then just expect,
Like from the kitchen inside.
yeah. You can
That's so simple.
you can create your own it's like a peanut butter mix. It's called suet, and like the woodpeckers really like that. So you can put something out there like that as well, and they'll come in, and you'll get some interesting shots.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll fight over the food too, and those make some good action shots.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm gonna ask you one more question, and maybe we've talked about it, but what's your favorite part of what you do?
It's I think it's the reward at the end, putting in all the time, the effort, and you go through all the failures, and then once you get that one shot that you had in your mind, because for me it's like a very creative thing to do. Like so once I get that, it's just like the reward. It feels so good. Like it's like, man, I spent so much time trying to get this shot, and I got it, and I can hold it, I can just, admire it, like, and just remember that part, remember how I got that shot, just like, man, like it took me months to scout that area, and I finally got a good shot of a meal guy, and, but it's also like the peace, the tranquility of just being out there, that too is very, very calming. Just going out and taking a little walk and seeing what pops up. I think I mentioned it earlier about the whole Pokemon Go. It's like, what are you going to find, and how are you going to catch it, right? How are you going to capture the photo?
Similar, right?
Yeah. So it's just a fun game for me. And then it's the thrill of like how I can capture a particular shot. How can I come out with a better shot than I did the last time? How can I get closer? It's like hunting without actually shooting, right? You're taking photos. So you get close to your subject, and you get that photo that you've been, trying to get for months, and then you finally get it. It's like, that's just awesome, man. It's
There's
an
your
awesome
trophy.
feeling. Yeah, it's the trophy.
That's awesome, man. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something real quick, because Manny took this picture here. Sorry, man. I'm gonna throwing his photos around. Manny took a picture here in the valley that I thought was super cool. So what is this?
That's a painted bunting. So it's a painted bunting, right? So it's a migratory bird here in the valley, but this is one of the main stops for this bird.
Dude, that's like, where was this taken? Do you remember?
That was actually at Santa Cruz Ranch.
At Santa Cruz. Okay,
That was at
so
Santa Cruz Ranch. So
in Santa Elena, right? Like Starr County.
Santa Elena, Starr County. So,
dude,
we host workshops out there, and we do some photography tours as well. So, that's a lot of people come out just so that they can see that bird.
Dude, I can't believe this was here. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, like, we have so many crazy things here. We have no idea, and so it's here every year.
Yeah, so you get them in spring and in fall. Yeah.
And a lot of people go out looking for it.
Yeah, they'll go looking for it.
Was it hard to get that shot?
So this one here, this is at the blind. So
where we were?
Yeah, so where we were, right? We weren't really expecting this one to come out. Sometimes they catch you by surprise. You're like, oh, they're finally here. So they finally migrated down here to the valley. So I think this particular one, we had been hearing him, but he never would come down to the water. And this particular morning, he decided to come out and take a bath and all that. So I have this one where I wanted to get the reflection. So I got the shot with the reflection, but then I also have the shot where he's like really wet and soggy because he's just taking a bath, right? So cool. I got that shot as well, and the action shot as well with the water droplets kind of everywhere,
fresh out the shower.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool that he actually came down. Not a lot of places you'll be able to get that close to these birds. Sometimes you'll see them up higher in the trees.
Yeah,
they don't really come out close to you. Especially if they're migratory birds, like they're not really familiar with the area, so they're just trying to scout where they can either, breed or where they can, rest for the winter.
Yeah.
So it's just you gotta really be out there and look at the behaviors of these birds in order to understand, like, okay, well, what are they going to do, and how can I get a shot of that?
It's just part of the game.
Yeah, just part of the game.
That's cool, man. So with that in mind, guys, so every week on the show we do like Valley homework, where it's like everyone who listens has to do something that week. Like, it's always something like community building, positive. Like, one week it was like the Valley homework is to pick up a piece of trash or give someone a hug. Okay. Right? All right, guys.
And Doce Wine is doing this one for us. So this one's brought to you by Doce Wine. Check them out. They have organic options. So Doce Wine's
Valley homework this week is to take a picture of an animal. Right? And it can't be your dog. It has to be a wild animal, right? So take a picture of an animal, get outside. It could be in your backyard, right?
Yeah.
Stick an orange to the tree, right? And take a picture of an animal. That's your homework. And when you do that, you're going to be immersed in the feeling of just being connected to whatever you're looking at. But look at it too. Don't just take a picture. Because the part of it is like experiencing it, right?
Yep.
So
the Doce Wine homework of the week.
Take a picture of an animal, experience it, love it. Can't be your dog or your cat. Has to be wild, which the neighborhood cat doesn't count either, right? He did like 10 billion of his Value homeworks this morning. His shutter was like, each shutter was at one shot.
Yeah.
Because he was doing like something like an AK-47 almost, like so that he took a photo for everybody, but it doesn't count. You guys have to do it too. It may not be a painted bunting, but take a picture of something, right? Yeah. There's butterflies, there's sparrows, there's even like, if you really look at a mockingbird, there's going to be beauty in it. Like, it's a bird you've seen your whole life, but you may not have ever spent 5 seconds appreciating it for what it is. And I think that's part of what you do, right? Like, you just, like, you're in the moment.
Yeah, you're just appreciating wildlife and nature. Yeah.
All right, man. So check out Manny's website too. It's
pieceofwildlife.com.
Okay. Yeah, you can take some of these photos, put them in your living room.
Yeah, and it's peace, like peace. Right?
Yeah, because it's a peace that you experience in the wildlife.
And then Piece of Wildlife Texas on Instagram, which is peace, and then Texas just TX.
Cool. All right, man. So if you want to talk to Manny, just, I guess, show up to any like shrub or tree outside, and he might be there, right? Taking a picture of a. If you see a Neil guy, Manny might be around, right? He might be taking a picture of it. So thanks, man, for being with us.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun this morning. So we went to Santa Cruz Ranch, and he showed us what he does. So check out Area 956's content. There was a whole behind the scenes, and really what we're talking about right now, you're gonna see it on Area 956. So you'll get to see him. You'll get to see Mr. Eric. And just make sure that you, when you go out there and you do it and you take that picture, that you experience everything, right? So what the animal's doing, what you're doing, where you are, right? And remember that moment, even if it's like a beetle, right? It can be anything.
Yeah, anything.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for this week's episode, for being here with us. It's a little cold right now, so stay warm. I don't know if I should say good morning or good night, but I'll say have a good one the rest of the day. Mr. Manny, again,
Hey,
appreciate
thank you for
man.
having me, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
your stuff is awesome. For
I
real.
appreciate it.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
fangirling, but your pictures are really good. All right, have a good one, guys. Say no to drugs.